Hey everybody, thank dog it's Friday.
Happy
Yay!
TDIF.
We're so happy to have you here today with us. Today is a little bit different. I'm going to be traveling, so we're actually recording this ahead of time because we didn't want to miss a Thank Dog It's Friday episode with you. And it will be broadcast at the regular time at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And at that time, when it's live, when we post it, Hillary will be following all along with the comments and suggestions and answering questions and all that good stuff. So we will be ears to the ground at that time, but right now we're recording it ahead of time since I'll be on the road. So anyway, we're super excited for today's episode. Hillary knows all the ins and outs of what to do, what first, next, and last. I'm going to go ahead and I'm super excited to get it started, but Hillary had a chance to go ahead and test it out, so she knows all the tips and tricks to do today's craft. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Hillary, so we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah. So this is a super fun one, and the way that it turns out is really incredible. It's a little bit like magic, and you don't know for sure until the very end if it's going to work. So that's sort of the fun of it. But we're making a personalized photo candle, and so we'll be actually imprinting whatever photo that you want to onto these candles. And some of the things to note about the candle, you could do square or round candles. Anything would pretty much work. I would recommend white candles, and then that they have a smooth surface on them. So nothing that's got a textured surface. Mm-hmm. And you could probably do a light color if you wanted to, but the way that we're actually imprinting our picture onto it, you're going to see that color come through on the picture. So white candle works great. That would probably be my recommendation.
Well, you get the truest colors that way, right? Because if you had like a green candle or a blue candle, that would turn all those colors that you're putting from your photo, it would add that tint to the color, and then it would look muddy and all that. So I think white, would work best.
And if you did like a black and white on the blue, it would just be, it's sort of, instead of black and white, it would be black and blue or black and pink or whatever those light colors are. But you'd need a light color to contrast with the black that's going to go on here. Okay. So candle is what you need first and foremost, and make sure that you have, a reasonable size candle. I wouldn't do like pillar candles for like a candlestick candle. I don't think those would be big enough. You need something that you're going to have enough surface to put a photograph on.
Yeah. This one is 3.75 inches and by 3.75, so it's kind of smallish, but what I liked is it's got a nice wide area so that you could see a picture. The other ones that I was looking at were much more narrow. They weren't like candlestick, or pillar, skinny pillars, but I still didn't think that they had enough surface area to see the photo at one glance. Otherwise, you'd be walking in circles around your candle to see the whole picture.
And so the next thing that you will need is some tissue paper. Have just regular white tissue paper is what you're going to need for that part. And a picture of your dog, whatever you want, and make sure that it's sized down to the size that's going to fit on this candle. So measure out your candle. I've actually got a little collage printed here that's 3 by 6, and I have 2 of these that are going to go on the candle. But I did another one for this. I did 2 candles already, and a 3 by 3 square works really nice on this size of candle.
Is your candle about the same size?
It's about the same size, yeah. Okay. So mine's a little bit over 3 inches tall. So it's probably, and then it's 12 inches all the way around. So
Okay. And I think I did my picture about a little more than 3 inches, 3.25 inches tall, because I had 3.75 to work with, and I did 6 inches wide. Yep. So it's going to go around quite a bit, probably like yours. Mine actually might be a little wider. I'm not sure, but yeah. I love that little collage you have. That's so cute.
And I actually have 2 of these that'll go around. This one's printed on just regular paper. I just wanted to test. That's another thing I recommend. Print it out on a regular sheet of paper first.
That's what I did for mine. So there's my little, that's our first beagle, Daisy, and there's that one's Clover.
Oh, those are adorable. Those are going to turn out great.
Yeah.
So just have your picture. An inkjet printer is the other thing that you'll need. And what you're going to do, so the first sort of step, once you get your picture the right size and you're ready to print, what you're going to be printing on is just one thin sheet of this tissue paper.
Okay.
And the way that you're going to make that work is to take regular printer paper and tape down your tissue paper on top of it. So I'll just, I'm using blue painter's tape. I think that one works well. You want something that's not going to pull apart your tissue paper once, you know, once you've got it down there. Masking tape would work, but something that's kind of got that, it's not super, super sticky. So, so that you can pull the tissue paper off of it again.
And so I've already done this step just to prepare ahead of time, but I was kind of picking a section of the tissue that was the least wrinkled, right? Because it comes folded, even though it's gently folded. You know, I was trying to find an area that was relatively wrinkle-free.
And you'll want to, where it's going to print is in sort of the center of that page. So you want to pick a big enough piece of tissue paper so that you have enough room around it to cut around, because you're going to have some excess there, just to make sure that it goes through the printer properly. So,
well, it's always good to do a test print so you see where the image shows up on the piece of paper, because we're not going to be printing on the paper next time. It'll be on the tissue that's on the paper, and you want to know where to align everything up. So it's always good to have a test run to see where that shows up on the.
The other thing that's good to do is to run through, if you don't know which side, which way the paper needs to go down in your in your paper tray. So if you just write an X on one side or write back on one side of just that regular piece of paper, so you can see which way do I need to set this. Now that it's been, you know, layered with the tissue paper, you need to. On mine, I have to put tissue paper down inside the paper tray because it'll roll it through. So that's just another little tip.
And mine's the other way. Mine's on
right
the top.
Side up.
Yep. So that's a really good tip.
So once you have this tape down, hopefully it'll just roll through. I didn't have any trouble with my inkjet to be able to just print it straight through. I did both a colored version, and then the one that I'm doing right now is black and whites. So both of them worked well. So I'll show you how those turned out for me on the tissue paper.
Oh, those are cute. And what's nice about black and whites is it evens out, it makes a collection of a number of different pictures where one doesn't stand out. Like if somebody was wearing a bright pink shirt in one picture and something a little less, you know, bright in the others, that bright pink shirt would stand out, right, and draw your eye to that. So the black and white really has a nice leveling effect where it makes them all kind of the same. And then here's my little one of our girls. So yeah, all ready.
All right, so next step is just trimming these down so that they will fit on your candle. And I'll be doing mine in sort of two sections since I have kind of two collages that are going on here.
Okay. And does it matter how much space you're giving yourself on the outside of the picture, or are we trying to go right up to the picture, or what do you want to do?
On this one, so on the other one, I left just a slight white around the edge. On this one, I'm going right up to the black part because I'm trying to line the two pictures. Like I'm going to have it go all the way around the candle. So I'm just trying to line it up as closely as possible.
Okay. So if I have a little white edge, that's fine?
That's totally fine. And you won't see it at all once you incorporate it into the candle. So yeah, this is it really turns out neat. I think like the colors, the colored photos will be beautiful. If you do black and whites, it comes out really nicely. Um, the only thing I would be extra cautious about is the size of the photo that you're using. Like just kind of, like I said, make a test print that first time, kind of place it onto the candle, see how that's going to work. But other than that, pretty much sky's the limit on what you want to
Right.
create.
Right. And you can do one picture, just make
Oh,
it easy.
absolutely. Yep.
You don't have to have a collage or do anything fancy by any means. Oh, this is so pretty. I just like my tissue.
Yep.
That's so cool.
So I'm gonna cut out my other one real quick before we
I'm
jump in.
gonna take my candle has a little wrapping on it. I'll take that off.
And I don't
Yep.
know how well I'm making a little bit more challenging version this time around because you have to line them up. Hopefully it'll line up okay. I measured, but we'll see how it turns out. so, I do
We
think
always
like the first time you do it, if you do just one kind of not a whole all the way around the candle type of picture, would be a little
yeah.
bit easier.
That's what I'm doing. I mean, mine probably will wrap around quite a bit, but it won't go around the whole thing. So I don't have to line anything up and things like
Yeah.
that, which I think will be helpful. All right.
And it does kind of mute the colors, like once you incorporate it into the candle. So it does I think it gives it kind of an elegant effect, or it's almost like a beachy effect, where it melds into, although these are white, they're just slightly off white. So you kind of get a little bit of that coming through. I'm going to take the wrapper off of
That's
mine.
really sweet.
And then the other thing that you'll need for this is some wax paper.
All right. Got my wax paper. This would be cute for like a grandparent to show pictures of the kids and the grandkids on a candle, or for Mother's Day. This would be a really cute idea.
Yeah, I love
I
it. It's sort
mean,
of like
this is
a photo box or something like that, but a little bit,
yeah.
it's a really fun one. And really relatively easy to create too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then when it's all done, when you light the candle, the picture will glow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Mm-hmm.
will be really cool.
So here we have just our our candle, our pieces of tissue paper. So you're going to want to take some wax paper that'll completely cover the sides of your picture. And I give it a little bit of extra room around the sides because you're going to hold it really tightly. I'll show you in just a second.
Okay.
I'll cut off a
Should it
section of this.
be taller than the candle, or should it be big enough to fit on the candle?
I think big enough to fit on the candle works really well.
Okay. All right.
And then if you place your tissue paper onto your candle.
Okay, I have another question for you. So I have an edge around my picture that pretty much is the exact height of the candle. I probably want to cut it a little smaller so that the wax will go on. Okay, I'm going to cut mine down a little bit.
So I'm just holding the edges here.
Aww.
That one.
It's definitely easier to cut the tissue when it's on the paper.
Yeah.
It's still taped.
And then you'll take your wax paper and hold it over.
Okay.
So here's my wax paper. Once you have it, you're just sort of holding it on. Take your wax paper, cover over the top of it, and
Yep.
make sure that it's really down there tight. You're holding
Okay.
it down tight. So there's no bubbles in your tissue paper. There's no bubbles in the wax paper.
Okay. And your wax paper is a little taller than the candle. Will you want to cut that down
It
at all?
doesn't, yeah, it doesn't matter. You're just going to heat this part right here
Okay.
where my tissue paper, so it doesn't, we're not trying to incorporate the wax paper into it. We're
Okay.
just going to try to incorporate the wax.
The wax, right.
So I'm just going to make sure that I get this real straight before we start the next step. Or as straight as possible. I think that might be more accurate.
It's handmade, right? It's
Yep.
handmade.
And you'll just be holding it down tight.
Okay. Sorry about that. I had to trim that down.
No worries.
And I'm going to trim this down. All right. So it can be bigger than the candle.
Yep. Just whatever's easy to kind of hold on to, because you'll be holding it the whole time you're applying your heat.
All right. Yeah. I want to make sure it's pretty straight. All right, I think I can. Yeah, I was going to get a bigger candle, but I don't think, at least the first one you do, it's a lot easier if you can hold it in one hand.
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah, start small, start easy, then you can go into much bigger things. All right, cool. What's the next step? I'm so excited.
So once you have it, as long as it's held down real tight, as long as you've got a good grip on it, the next step takes a little bit of time, but it's kind of the fun part. So it's sort of where everything starts to come to life. You're going to need a hair dryer or some sort of heating, something that'll blow some hot air onto this candle.
A blowtorch?
Yeah, maybe not a blowtorch. But what you're going to be doing is you're trying to take this wax that's on your wax paper and incorporate it through that tissue paper to make it one with the candle. So your tissue paper is actually going to be a part of the candle. You're not transferring the picture to it. It's going to just get kind of coated in wax and incorporated into the candle.
Right. So we've got wax with the candle, we've got the tissue paper, then we've got wax on one side of the wax paper, then the paper, then wax on the other side of the wax paper. The wax paper itself will come off once the wax on the bottom side integrates with the candle and the tissue below.
Yep.
And we'll be peeling the paper of the wax paper with no wax left on it, at least on the back side.
Yep. Okay. And you'll start to see, I use the hot setting on mine. It depends on how hot your hair dryer is or your, but you'll start to see the colors kind of come through a little bit deeper. That's once you're starting to see that wax kind of melt into the rest of the candle. So what you're going to be looking for is that there's no bubbles or anything like that. The colors start to get a little bit more vibrant throughout the picture. And it takes a little bit more time than you think. Like you'll start to see it kind of come together. You may start to see little bits of wax bead up on the front side. I would move to another section. If you start to see that, it's not the end of the world. You can just put a little heat to it again and smooth those out. But if it's starting to beat up a lot, that you need to move to another section.
Hot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's getting too hot. Okay.
So this part's kind of noisy. So we're going to get started.
Okay. So do I take the wax paper off?
We have the one side of it, and then you can just peel off your wax paper. Yeah.
Okay. This is cool. Oh, that's so neat. Here's mine.
Oh, that turned out great.
It really did. It turned out so well. That'll be sweet.
That's awesome.
These are so fun. Oh my gosh, I just love them.
Yeah, when my husband saw the first one that I did, so I'll show you that one. I did kind of a memorial candle for Tatum.
Yeah.
So I have a little collage of just us at the beach with her, which was it was a great trip. So it was a really fun one to do. But once he saw this one, he's like, I want to do like 1,000 of these because you're kind of sky's the limit. You could do, whatever you want for your graphic that goes on here. And it really does come out as a cool effect. So
yeah, it really does. It really does. It's sweet. And you can make these again. You could put photos of your pups on here and give them for Mother's Day or birthdays or graduations or weddings or anything like that, right?
yeah.
Especially somebody that, you know, I know so many people nowadays that have their dog in their wedding. Wouldn't that be a beautiful gift for them, is to show, have a picture of their dog on a candle for a wedding gift? That would be just so.
That would be adorable. Yeah.
Handmade and personal. They would, one of a kind. I think they would love that. That would be great. Well, thank you so much for showing us, Hillary. These were a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing them today. I think I'm in the same boat with Hunter. I could just keep going and going.
They are fun.
These are really sweet.
Yeah, they turn out beautifully. So it does look, as a gift, it looks more difficult, more challenging. When you see, you're like, how did you get that picture onto that candle? It's, it really is kind of a jaw dropper if it's personalized for someone. So I think it would come out as a really thoughtful gift for somebody.
Absolutely, yeah. Just tie a little ribbon on it, put it in a sweet little candle holder, and that would just be the perfect gift. Well, thanks again. We really had a lot of fun, everybody. Thanks for joining with us. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there live, but I just couldn't miss a Thank Dog It's Friday. So I appreciate you letting us record this ahead of time. And by all means, Hillary will check the comments live, and I'll be sure to check back when I get back to town. So thank you so much for everything. And Thank Dog It's Friday, right?
Yeah. Thank Dog It's Friday. And if you want to check out other crafts that we'll be doing or keep up to date with anything else that We Heart Hounds is up to, be sure to sign up for our mailing list, and then you won't miss a thing. And we'll put a link to that mailing list in this recording so that you can find it easily.
Perfect. That's great. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.